I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to the A&M podcast, everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday, a new week. Almost the beginning of May. Can you believe it? It's gonna be May.
I know. It's gonna be May. Yeah. Uh, oh, God. I apologize in advance. Right there, that's where I'm going to see when I look on YouTube. That's when people
That's the
stop.
time mark. They're like,
That's when
okay.
they
I
went
see
on
how
to the
this
next one. It will
episode's
be
gonna
at
go.
34 seconds. Yeah. So,
Anyways,
so,
yeah.
so welcome back, those of you who joined us for our first Marble Monday yesterday. Brandon got initiated into his first I don't want to call it hate. It wasn't really hate, but his first negative comment. So he's been baptized.
Bro on the bottom definitely seemed a little nervous, which I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah, bro on the bottom. Bro, that will be his name from now on, is bro on the bottom.
Bro on the bottom.
So, because he's the youngest, and he's, yeah.
I feel like the people that were tuning into Marvel Mondays are not the same people tuning in for moi. Or maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah.
Brandon doesn't tune into these episodes, but I bet he tuned into Marvel Monday.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he did. He might not have.
Yeah.
He might not have.
He might not have even done that.
Might have been too busy.
You're welcome for your services. Now I'm out.
Yeah, that's right. Now, where's my paycheck?
All right. Anyways, guys, so today's episode kind of stemmed from this thing I saw on Instagram, which I feel like a lot of I don't know, that's very millennial of me, but a lot of my subjects come from like just something I saw on Instagram. And I saw it and it was saying how like back in the 90s or whatever, 90s, early 2000s, how things used to be so much more colorful than they are today. And one of the it gave like a bunch of pictures of things and stuff that I thought was interesting. And yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. Because one of the photos was like even fast food restaurants. And like, so not even just interior design type of things, like how McDonald's back in the day, for example, used to be very, very colorful. Everything was red and yellow. It had the big colorful plaything, the seats, even a Taco Bell and all those, very colorful. And
Pizza Hut, the old school Pizza Hut.
Yeah, like even the furniture inside was really colorful, not even just the outside of it, but like the furniture inside, very colorful, very crazy, Nowadays, I don't know what ended up taking this turn for, honestly, restaurants. I don't know if it was like, to me, it almost seems like the fast food restaurants were trying to take a turn into not wanting to be known as much of like fast food. They wanted it to look a little fancier. And I feel like that's kind of where the turn of the mauve colors and the grays came from.
Yeah.
The what do they call the gray and beige? Grayish, yeah. I do like a grayish myself.
Yeah, I mean, walls here, your wall there. Yeah, we all are living in the grayish phase.
Yeah.
But when you talked about this topic, I was thinking about like some of the things that I remember us doing, and we went through all of these like phases that all the
trends.
The things talk about, all the trends. Like I remember us having the dark green carpet. Do you remember the house where we had the dark green carpet?
Yeah, I remember the dark green carpet.
Do you remember that?
And it's crazy like seeing something like that terrible. Because if I see a house with just like wall-to-wall carpet in general, like unless it's like, I can kind of live if it's like a 2-story house and the carpet's in the bedroom or something like that. Like, okay, I can kind of deal with that, whatever. I don't prefer it at all, but like whatever.
Right.
It's usually a tan carpet. But thinking about getting a house, like when you guys got that house and you saw the green carpet, were you truly like, oh yeah, that's nice?
picked the green carpet.
That's
We
even
picked the
worse.
green carpet for that house.
That's
Yeah, that
even
was
worse.
yeah, thinking about it, it just makes me cringe a little bit. And then the other trend I thought of that was kind of a funny one was there was a while there where, well, two things. There was the sponge painting.
I
Everybody was
remember
doing
you
the
guys
sponge painted
ate that
walls.
up. Y'all loved the
Oh
sponge
man.
painting.
Yep.
I think you
And
did it twice.
then
I
the
think
other one,
you did it twice with y'all were sponge painting every wall from what I remember. Like it
yeah,
wasn't just your bedroom
yeah,
wall. I feel like there was another wall
no.
too that you were like, let's keep it going.
Maybe because they had those. I don't know. They might still
The
make them,
kit.
but I haven't seen them. They had those
Oh
those
yeah.
rollers that had like a pattern on them, and you'd go around and it look.
That's how
Yeah,
that's
we
how
did
much
that.
people
We
were
did
doing
that.
sponge painting. They were like companies capitalized.
Yeah,
I thought you also had like a dark um like red carpet too somewhere. Wasn't there dark?
like a pink. It was like a mauve.
Yeah,
It was like a mauve. Yeah, like a dark mauve carpet. I think we had
awful.
somewhere, and I don't remember where. There, because every now and then we'll go back and we'll look at pictures, and we'll be like, ooh, you know,
And it's crazy because
ooh,
like
that
you really
carpet.
liked it. Like it's that's what's I think interesting to me is there was a time when it's like it's crazy like when something is trending, you really do look at it like, oh yeah, I like that. No, that looks really
Yeah,
really good. Like even
yeah.
now, I mean, no shade on the cherry brown um dark cabinets or anything like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
But now it's like very white cabinets or like more of a natural wood cabinet is kind of more in or gray cabinets.
Right, right.
I don't really think dark cherry red brown cabinets are like a thing that people are purposely doing,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's funny because I do remember a time when that was the look. If you saw a dark
Yeah,
cherry red cabinet, you were like, "Oh yeah. No, that's
yeah,
put that in my
yeah.
house."
So we bought the house, the other house on this street that we used to live in, and that was 14 years ago
Mhm.
ish, 14 years ago, which wow. But when we bought that house, it was a foreclosure, but it had those dark wood cabinets and it had, um, oh, I forget, it was Corian countertops, not quartz, not granite. It was Corian, which was like, I guess maybe a predecessor to quartz because it was man-made, but it was like a solid surface. It wasn't like a laminated. And man, we thought that kitchen was
Yeah.
amazing, and
You're like,
oh
"What
wow,
a
this we got
deal."
this house so cheap and it's got this amazing kitchen. And when we built the house over in Riverview, when we were over there, we picked the one that had the dark cabinets with the
That looked
the
pretty
granite
though. That did
countertop.
look pretty.
No, it
Yeah.
was it was pretty, but as I think about it now, it's like that doesn't feel like that was that long ago. It was actually I think like
Pretty
10
long
years at this
ago,
point,
yeah.
but yeah. But I feel like at this point I'd be like, "Oh man, we have to change that kitchen," and that would be like,
Yeah. That was a big kitchen
that
too.
it's not that
Yeah.
old.
No,
Yeah.
it's funny because I was
So,
looking at a house the other day on like a house rental or whatever, and the kitchen. Adrian was laughing
right.
at me because I when I saw the house, I was like, "Ugh, this one's just ugly, like builder grade kitchen." And he started cracking up.
Yeah.
He's like, "Wow, that is so funny that you said that because you say that like I know exactly what that means. I've just never heard anyone just like hate on a kitchen like that before." And I was like, "No, it's
Yeah.
all builder grade." And I think everyone knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say a builder grade kitchen. Laminate countertops,
Yep.
that basic
Oh
wood
yeah.
cabinet.
Or they
No
probably they
handles.
probably have a tinge of orange to
Yeah.
them, a little bit of an orangey
Yeah,
color.
tinge
Yeah.
of an orange.
Yeah.
No
Yeah. We've
handles
had
on any of the
yeah.
cabinets. that
No. No, I don't know how they think you're opening
that
them.
faucet that like
How am I opening that?
the faucet that's like low to the sink and has the little separate sprayer next to it. Builder grade. The sink is cut in half.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
No
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. Remove
Yeah. And
everything.
then
Take everything out.
another one I remember. Yeah. Another one I remember from back then, like I'm going to say 90s, maybe early 90s,
Hmm.
was painting your kitchen cabinets and stenciling like a
That's
pattern on your kitchen
awful.
cabinets. So we did that in a house. We painted them like I think it was like a
Ivory.
mint green
Oh.
color. We painted them. No, it was like a mint green. It was a color that probably today would actually be back
Oh,
in.
true.
Um, but it was just like roller painted, so they looked terrible, but
Probably
that's what
didn't
people
sand
did.
them
They just,
down. You
they
didn't sand them down first. Yeah.
no, no, may have wiped them
Yeah.
off, maybe. I don't even
Just
know
slap
about that.
some paint on them.
And then we got yeah, and then we got stencils at like
Michael's.
I don't know, probably yeah, Michael's it would have been because I don't remember Hobby Lobby back
Yeah.
then, and we stenciled little like leaf patterns on the corners of the doors, and we
Cute.
thought that was
Yeah.
just so yeah, we thought that was so
Right.
nice back
That would have
then.
definitely got a post on Facebook nowadays.
Oh yeah, yeah. Facebook that was before the Facebook
I want to
existed.
know,
But
were laminate countertops ever like truly a trend, or was that always just like a cheap option?
I feel like they were probably really big in the 70s because I don't think like the solid surface stuff was as like popular, and I could be
Mm.
wrong about that, but I feel like every house I remember seeing in the 70s people just had, and they had, maybe some houses had the nicer laminate where it had like the rounded edges, or the, you know what I mean, where they made it look nicer.
Oh, that's right. That's
But
right.
I feel like that kind of countertops came out then, and that's when they, it's like anything else. Like something comes out and it's very popular because, oh wow, there's this new, thing that they
Hmm.
have. So I feel like it was something like that. Um
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, but that's a good that and a lot of times now when they build homes, the home builders don't even like give you the option of those things. Like not even
Oh, like
on the
laminate?
lowest end basic
Oh,
package.
yeah.
Yeah, on the lowest end basic one, they're doing, at least quartz or
And I
granite
love that
or something
because
like
come
that.
on, like don't
Yeah.
play me and use my budget against me.
Yeah, right. Now where they'll get you with the laminate still though, I think is in the bathrooms. Like your kitchen, they're not going to do that. Your bathrooms, they might try to throw a laminate countertop at you in the
I just
bathroom because
hate,
it's a
God
bathroom.
forbid you
Yeah.
spill juice on it. Like,
Yeah. Oh
don't
yeah.
clean that up right
Right?
away. It's forever ruined. I did remember that it was a few years ago, but I don't know. It's probably still maybe a little popular. But when people were, I think they had like their laminate countertops and they were like redoing them to look like granite or like something more
Oh yeah.
expensive. And they were
Yeah.
doing that. What was it? Epoxy. They were doing the epoxy
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah. There was
But I heard that that's
yeah.
not that great. I heard that it like long term it's not as hard as you think, and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I heard like not that positive things about it. There's a lot of cons with
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. I mean, I could believe that it might not be as sturdy as it's not going to last like 20 years or something like that, but with how quickly trends change, you might not care anyway. Also, but there was a house when Brandon was looking at houses. There was one in our neighborhood that he looked at
Mhm.
that somebody had done that on the countertops, and on the pictures online of the house, it looked like, oh yeah, it looks like they have some kind of nice solid surface, thinking maybe
Mhm.
quartz countertops. We get there and it was obviously a DIY, something like you're talking about. Because, when you do those right, and I've seen people who do them right, I've watched videos
Yeah,
of people who do
same.
them right, they look really good. They look like
Mhm.
marble or quartz, or they really look good. These, it was like they either rushed it because they were trying to sell the house, or they had no idea what they were doing
Yeah.
because they were not smooth. They were
Oh.
like bumpy.
Yeah.
So it had the look of like a solid surface or a stone or whatever, but it was all bumpy on
Sounds like it was
top.
just their first time. They
And then
probably saw a YouTube video, got
maybe.
motivated, YouTube University.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't, if I was gonna try and do that, I would probably practice on like a big piece of wood or
Yeah, a piece
something.
of wood. Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
go straight
Well,
to my
speaking of a
countertop.
yeah. Well, speaking of a big piece of wood, so they had an island in it, and I don't know if you remember our island here before we redid the kitchen, but it was a
Oh
small
yeah, yeah.
island. It was like,
A serving
basically,
island.
I think it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like the dishwasher and a sink
Yeah.
cabinet, and that was it with, a countertop on
Mhm.
it. And it was one of those with the little bump up. What they had done in this one is they took that little thing and they added legs to it
Oh.
to make it longer. And then they put a piece of plywood, literally like 3/4 inch or half inch, I don't know, I didn't measure it, plywood on it. And they
What?
did this faux
Or
granite thing
oh.
on that. But yeah, when you looked at it, you could see it was only this thick. And you looked underneath and you could see that it was just plywood,
That's
and it was horrible. It was terrible. It was the worst thing about that is it was one of these houses that they sold to
that was
a
their sample practice sheet, and they said,
yeah.
actually, we could just put this on the island.
Yeah, that's right. They did do the test, and then they thought it looked so good that they just used it for their island. But the worst part to me was this was a house that was being sold by one of those companies that buys houses and
Oh
resells
yeah.
them. I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but you probably
Yeah.
know the one I'm talking about. And the fact that they just turned around and sold that thing with that kitchen the way it was, to me, was hilarious. Like, they didn't even go in there. The funny thing was, I think after they bought it from the people, they did go in and put like new carpet down and some other stuff. And all I thought was like, but you looked at that kitchen and you thought, yeah, that's nice.
It's crazy
It
because,
was not.
like,
It was
I
not.
think when it comes to kitchens, at least in my opinion, especially I guess if you're buying a home, you either are looking for, I think, your dream kitchen or a kitchen that you like wanna like you have it in mind that like I'm gonna renovate the kitchen anyway. So the person who bought
Right.
it, they could have literally just had it in their mind, like, kind of like you guys. Like your kitchen wasn't bad, but they could have had it in their mind, like, okay, well, I'm just gonna renovate the kitchen anyways. So I don't really care that this
Right.
countertop is uh an art project.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. The person that ultimately bought it, that might have been
Yeah.
exactly what it was. I felt like the house was overpriced because of what the state of like
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
kitchen and
yeah.
the
What it
one
needed.
bathroom too was kind of crazy. But
Kitchens are a big thing to
but
me.
the
That's
the
like the first. If I will literally, when I'm looking at houses, if the kitchen just doesn't look good, I'm not. I'm clicking out. Next, I can't. I
yeah
will not. I just can't. I'm very picky with the kitchens because like the older kitchens, I don't know. I just can never
yeah
imagine them being in style. Sorry. How did y'all live with it?
yeah. Well, and the thing is, unless it's super cheap, like you said before, that you can say, well, I can just do what I want with it. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to look at it and go, oh, well, you know, I hate the cabinets, but
It'll
oh,
do.
well, it's a kitchen,
Yeah.
like nobody's going to
No.
do. Yeah. I can't imagine somebody doing that. You should either be one or the other. It should either be, oh, I love the kitchen, or, oh, I don't care. I plan on redoing it anyway.
Hmm.
Um, One of the interesting things to me was I was trying to figure out, like, because you think of some of those trends, right? Like the sponge painting or that kind of stuff, and you're like what started those?
Hmm.
Like why was it even the stuff now with like, well, apparently farmhouse, the modern farmhouse is out. That's not in anymore. I didn't know that. Nobody asked me
Oh
first of all, and
wow.
and I'm a little upset because our whole house is kind of in that look. So
Now I
apparently
hate it,
I'm
actually.
getting ready
I
for
hate
another
it. I hate it,
renovation. Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I hate everything.
I liked my home, and then I read that, and now I hate
Wait,
it.
I'm not in
Um,
trend?
but I was, yeah, but I was reading anyway about like starting in the '80s anyway, because Gen X. Um, like what was the kind of I don't know, primary factor behind the trends? And it says like in the '80s it was pop culture.
Hmm.
It was things like Miami Vice, which everything in the '80s was Miami Vice. Somewhere
That's
there's a picture
funny.
of me in a white like dress jacket, or I forget the term,
That's
but
crazy.
uh with like a pink t-shirt on underneath. And yeah, that was very Miami
Gotta
Vice.
get that
Yeah, I
photo.
thought I thought I gotta find it. Yeah, it's somewhere. Probably Nana has it. Um, and then it talks about like movies. A lot of the trends came from movies then as well. So it was very
Mm.
pop culture is what drove things in the 80s. In the 90s, it says the catalog and sitcom era. So it talks about like the Friends aesthetic, the way things looked in the apartment
Or
on
like
Friends is what people were
Seinfeld.
going
Yeah.
after. Or right, right. Yeah. But and then it talks also about like lifestyle magazines and catalogs. It mentions Pottery Barn and IKEA.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, that's
Oh, that's
IKEA became
true.
very big in the 90s and Pottery Barn definitely in the 90s, like all that
Love
kind of
Pottery
stuff.
Barn.
Um, the McMansion boom. Massive suburban developments introduced standard luxury oak cabinets. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was just talking. Vaulted ceilings. Huh. Um, and then the 2000s, and this completely makes sense. It talks about the HGTV revolution. Everything in the 2000s was pushed off of whatever the designers on
Makeover
all the
shows.
HGTV
Yeah.
shows were doing. I feel like that's still kind of there, but I also feel like that's not as big as it used to be.
Yeah, and now, I mean, nowadays, I think it's just a huge I mean, we're surrounded by influencer culture. You know what I mean? Like we have
Yep.
there's everything. There's Pinterest, there's social media websites. You
Yep.
have even all of the different, furniture websites at your fingertips, and
Yeah.
there's so many. There's even like people using AI softwares where you take a picture, they'll like take a picture of their kitchen or whatever, or their bedroom or things like that, and be like, "Hey, remodel this." But they'll be like,
Oh
"Hey,
yeah.
remodel this with, contemporary or, modern farmhouse or
Right.
black and white." I
Right.
and it literally AI will give them their bedroom or their kitchen layout and everything, but just with like different cabinets or a different countertop or even a
Yeah.
slightly different layout or things like that, which I think is kind of
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool, but that's where that's even coming
Yeah.
from.
You wonder at what point is that? I mean, it's like everything with AI at this point. You look at that and you go, "Wow, is that going to hurt like designers, like the people
Oh
that do
yeah.
that kind of stuff, like the architectural designers, like kind of thing? Is that going to like hurt their business because people are going to go, "Well, I don't need them. I can just do it, through AI." That's it's funny though you mentioned Pinterest because it has that listed as the 2010s
Mhm.
as the Pinterest and Instagram algorithms, which I kind of feel like to your point that's still going on
Yeah.
somewhat, but it mentions the Gaines effect because Chip and Joanna Gaines, that
Oh
was very
yeah.
2010s, everything there, and they're right. I think they're a very big reason for the popularity of like that modern farmhouse look too,
Mhm.
because that was everything that they did, and everything that they did looked so good. And the funny thing is, like we joked around about, I look around here and I'm like, oh, it looks so dated. I hate it. I can't picture that because one of the trends, like I think it was back in the 80s, was sort of a farmhouse, but the farmhouse was different because it was like cartoony
Mhm.
farmhouse. It was like
Checkered
ducks and
and
chickens all
yeah.
over you and checkered and all that. Yeah, it was
Cartoony
definitely not modern farm.
farmhouse.
Yeah, because it was. I'm telling you, it
That
was
is
like
very
your
cartoony.
your kitchen towels had ducks and chickens all
That's
over them,
awful,
and
yeah.
or maybe you had a wallpaper
Thanksgiving
border because
grandma.
that was another thing that we didn't talk about. Yeah,
The
yeah, that was
shams,
like
shams on
ducks.
the window, probably also a checkered print.
Yeah,
Awful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, window shams. What happened to those? I don't know what happened to
Right.
those.
Us millennials, we
We
barely
actually,
have curtains. Like.
that's true. Yep. And then the 2020s now, it calls it the TikTok and pandemic shift.
uh,
I don't know why the pandemic, the lockdown, spending
oh,
24/7
yeah.
at home made people realize that minimalism was actually quite boring. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what
I don't
that
know
all
about
means.
that,
One
but
thing that I will, what we
no,
say?
I said I don't know about that, but I also think that around that time people just like amped up organizing.
Right.
So
Right, which
that,
was
you know,
feel like that was one of the big trends
yeah,
there,
like
was the whole
that was a
organizational
whole
stuff.
trend in itself, like extreme organizing. Like, I mean, I have it in
Right.
my cabinets now, so I'm not making fun of it. Where we have everything
Yeah.
in jars. Everything is in a glass container with a label on it, just in case you're confused. Yes, this is the brown sugar. I know it looks
Yes.
like brown sugar, but now you know it is brown sugar because there's a label on it.
You know, here's where it's helpful though. When you have the label on the powdered sugar and you have the label on the flour, because that way you don't confuse the two. Because I've gone to make cookies before, and powdered sugar and flour sometimes look the
Till you put
same,
it in the
and
container.
cookies don't they don't turn out the
Oh,
same when
yeah.
you make them with powdered sugar instead of
Yeah.
flour. I can tell you that from experience.
I've
The other
yeah.
thing, no,
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, go ahead. I was done.
The other thing I've noticed recently, because my TikTok algorithm has me watching every furniture flipper, I think in the United States, um, the trends that they do that really look good, by the way, but it's a lot of times like painted. So I think the color thing is really coming back, like where, the grays and
Different
that
color
are
scheme
kind of going the
though.
other way. Yeah. Yeah,
More
they're still
earthy. They're more
muted. They're
earthy.
not like bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting to me. And like I said, a lot of the things I see, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I like that. So
Like
there
the
we are.
colors back in the day, it was like overload color. You know what I mean? Like having color on things that like didn't even make sense because why is the bathtub and the sink pink or yellow
Yeah.
or turquoise?
Green,
Like, yeah.
green, like dark
Like
green. I remember dark. There was,
nobody even
there
needed
was,
that. Like, no, you didn't even need to like color the bathtub. Like, and then it
yeah.
would be like a pink bathtub and like, I don't know, blue tiles all over the bathroom. Awful.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
okay,
Yeah.
got the pink accents. Now, what color would clash with this the most that I could make my tile?
Yeah.
Let's do like
Yeah.
dark
The
blue and
one,
light blue together, and then maybe we can throw like a yellow in there somewhere.
yeah. Yeah. Just to completely make it look like
Just
we're living in I don't know, a fun house.
yeah.
Yeah, the one I remember too is like the bright yellow tub and toilet and sink combination.
See,
Bright
at
yellow.
my old house, I don't know, I'm sure you remember like it had that it wasn't I wouldn't say it was a bright yellow though. I guess it was a bright yellow. It was like a butter yellow.
Was
It
it?
was like slightly darker than
I don't
it was
remember
like a
that.
butter
Yeah, I think
yellow.
you're thinking, no, I think you're thinking of bisque.
Mm,
I think that's what you're thinking of. They call
It was
it
like a butter
bisque.
yellow.
No?
It was a butter yellow, I would
Hmm.
say. It wasn't light, it wasn't pastel yellow. It was definitely darker than pastel
Yeah.
yellow, but it wasn't like bright, sunny. I don't even have anything around me. It wasn't like
Yeah.
crayon yellow, yellow. It was
Right,
slightly
right,
lighter than
right.
that. Right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think I do remember that. But and that wasn't the
And
one
that
I'm talking
wasn't
about. I'm talking about the one I'm talking about I'm talking about spicy brown mustard
that's awful.
yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, see this
That's what I'm talking
this
about.
was like it was bad, but it was like you could deal and it looked kind of cute because like the rest of the bathroom was like like it just had a yellow sink and a yellow tub, but like
Mm-hmm.
the countertop in the bathroom was white and gray marble, and then the cabinet in the bathroom was like a newer, updated white cabinet. The toilet was white. You know what I mean? Like the floors were like
Yeah.
pretty simple. So, the shower curtain was white. So it didn't look as bad because that was just like, oh, it's just a fun pop of color, like tulip lights over it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like kind of, oh, okay. I
The
could tell
tulip lights.
it's like dated, obviously, because people don't do yellow tubs and sinks, but
Right.
it's not as bad as if it
Well,
was
and
pink.
here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that though. When you've got those really, the old weird color like sink or tub and that, and like let's say you need to replace your toilet for whatever reason, you how are you can't match it.
Oh
So
yeah.
now you got to replace everything, or like I think that's what you're talking about there. You're mismatched, and I remember we had the one house that we had it was like the bisque. Everything was in that bisque, which is like just it's not white, but it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
just a little like brown. And the
Smoker's
worst thing
teeth.
is you couldn't yeah, that's what it was. Um but you couldn't find like things to match. So we wanted to replace the toilets with the higher toilets. Um and you couldn't find them in that color. So
Oh
everyone we'd
yeah.
look at, we're like, is that it? No, that is that white? Is that I can't tell. And then you get it home and it's like two shades lighter than what you had. It's like that just well, that's annoying now.
Yeah, that is an awful
I
color.
remember the worst house that we looked at. It was this one that was in the process of being renovated, and we were seriously thinking about buying it. And it had the giant triangle garden tub black. It was
Oh,
black.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's fancy.
Which maybe that's trendy again today. I don't know. It looked like something you'd see in a Las Vegas hotel in the
I was gonna say that's
1980s.
exactly what
I
I
don't
was
know.
thinking of. It's funny because like I saw black cabinets recently, and I kind of like them. I kind of I'm it's
Hmm.
like depending on the rest of the look of everything. I don't think they're terrible, but I did hear with like black cabinets that you see like water splashes and fingerprints and all that on it like really
Uh,
really easily. So
right.
you know.
Yeah, I saw a video of a lady who had, I think it was on TikTok, who had a white refrigerator, and she painted it black. She just, like roller
Oh
painted
my
it black,
god.
and and it showed it through the process, and I was like, oh, this is not going to turn out well. It when she had it done, I saw it like it was a different. I didn't see the video where she finished it, but I saw another video that she had after it was done, where she was standing in front of it, and it looked really good. Like she did some kind of gold like wrap over the
Mhm.
handles that they didn't look, it didn't look awkward.
Mhm.
They looked good. So it was black with gold handles. It actually turned out really well. And I was like, I would not have expected that.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't looking at it close up. It might be like, wow, at this distance when she's standing in front of it, it looks great. And then if you went
It's
up
like
to it, you'd
blurred
be
in the
like,
background.
oh, this is yeah, yeah. So who
Yeah,
knows?
that's another thing I think that's kind of funny how it's just evolutionized over the years, I guess. Is appliances overall. Like not even just kitchen appliances, just like even the washer and dryers and those type of appliances, like even refrigerators, the refrigerator with the little freezer on top and the one that I have and the big bottom. It's
Oh,
funny.
the one that I have. Yeah.
It's funny because like that was the refrigerator that every household had, sorry, the cats are being bad.
Oh.
Um and
Yeah, I mean, I remember like I mean actually that's the fridge we have in the garage is that one. Um and I think there's actually an energy efficiency reason that one makes sense because remember cold air falls, right? Hot air rises,
so
cold
why
air
is the
falls.
freezer on?
So you've got
Oh,
your freezer on top because it's cold in the freezer, and then that air falling helps, so that your refrigerator doesn't have to be kept as cold for things to stay colder. I think that has something to do with like why that was the original way that they did them. Now they're probably more energy efficient in general, so it
oh, it
doesn't,
doesn't even matter.
doesn't make as much of a
Yeah,
difference.
because I
But
love a
yeah.
fancy kitchen appliance, like the microwave that like pulls out like a drawer. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I
So
have seen those.
fancy,
And
so fancy. I
if
love
we
it.
had seen I yeah, if we had seen those before we did our kitchen, we probably would have had one
Like
of those
found
because
out where to
that's
put
yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah,
that's neat.
or like a double oven. Love a
Yeah,
double
that
oven on the wall. Love that. I would be hosting
Yeah.
everything if I had a double oven on the wall and a drawer microwave. Everybody's invited. A&M podcast listeners,
Right.
come on over. I have two
Right.
ovens. I have
Right.
plenty of room.
You know, our problem, if we did have that drawer microwave though, because it would have taken out a cabinet space where we would store stuff.
True.
Then when nothing was being made in it, I'd be storing things in there because I'd
Like,
be like,
okay,
I
we'll
don't know
just
where to
put the
put this now.
Tupperware in it. Fine.
Lost space. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one I've seen too, another recent one is like, we have that little pantry
Hmm.
closet in our kitchen there. I've seen people take those and just take the closet out completely and put like shelving in it that's open shelving and then cabinets like a regular, base cabinet on the bottom and just make it like kind of an open, I don't know what you would call it, but like kind of an open pantry area.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wish if I had seen that, I might have done that. That's the problem
Uh,
with this stuff is like,
I've seen trends like that with like the open shelving in kitchens and stuff, and a lot of times like people like, have you seen them where it's just like the two, usually like two shelves
mm-hmm,
up high, two wooden shelves, and they
mm-hmm,
store like dishes and
mm-hmm.
stuff. I like that idea,
Yeah.
but I also feel that it's not that my cabinets are ever like messy, but even when you have like, the dishwasher is full and all my dishes are being washed and now my shelf is empty.
Oh,
You're just going
true.
to have to wait for the
Yeah, that's
plates
true.
to go back on there
That's
cuz
true.
they're in the dishwasher. Okay? Like we've used all the
That
plates and
is, yeah.
bowls, they're all in the dishwasher. So, and you always have to keep it very, again, like not like you I guess aren't keeping it neat, but or
Yeah.
dust. I've also
Yeah,
heard
I mean
like,
you,
dust getting in I don't know.
ducks? Oh,
Dust. Yeah,
dust. Yeah,
ducks.
well, I thought
Ducks too
why
because it's out in the
are we
oven.
back to yeah, and it's that
Yeah.
1980s farmhouse look where there's ducks
Yeah,
everywhere.
cuz
No,
I keep it realistic and
no.
have real ducks. Okay, they're not just on the towels, they're in the
Yeah.
living room.
Yeah. That's That's right. I don't want that wallpaper
I don't
border.
want
Um but
the
but
wallpaper border. Wallpaper in
but
general, actually.
yeah, that too. Yeah, I haven't figured out the wallpaper thing because some people are still doing it, and I hate wallpaper,
I've
but that's
seen
just me.
people
But some
use
people
it
are still
though
doing it.
and like use it very well. But
Yeah, I don't know.
people
I guess I just think of it a certain way. I think of it as something that's in like an old house, and I know that's not what it is, but that's just, you know,
I even think
I
of
have
like
some
my
odd trauma about
I
it.
think of like my old bedroom and like back when I was like younger or whatever, and the colors that I would be like, yeah, I want my walls this color, and I want pink and green. Pink and green was like a big color combo back in the day. Pink and green,
Yeah,
pink and black, pink and zebra print, like those were all very in. And that's what like I remember I had this one
yeah,
green folding chair, soft little folding chair thing, like the hammock type of chair in my room. And like my pink or zebra print, whatever it was, comforter, and it was looking real cool. Magazines all over the wall. And it's funny because like even the girls nowadays don't want all those like bright colors and stuff in their rooms. Even the kids are like, yeah, like just some like very clean, cool tones. Like, oh,
yeah.
so like
I feel
not
like
hot
give it.
pink walls and like a bright green comforter. Like that's not it. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like the 2030s are when all those bright colors are going to come back in. That's just my guess.
Huh.
I'm not a interior designer though, so and all the interior designers by 2030 will be replaced by AI.
I
So
think that's
AI
true.
will decide that the trend
I
is
think
back.
that's where you really see like the evolution of all of it is those people who take the old furniture and like make it more modern because you see like yeah those orangey toned woods on everything, the desk, the
Hmm.
dresser, the bed, like all of it, and you're seeing these furniture flippers make it into something honestly like so beautiful, like something that I would walk past and
Yeah.
be like, that's dated, oh my god, good luck. You might as well just put that to the
Yeah.
curb. And then the furniture flippers with a little bit of paint and like new handles really make it
Yeah.
something modern.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that I've seen is two things I've seen that I'm like, what? And it works. Is, all those old like dressers and that they have
Mhm.
that little scrolled base that they sit
Yeah.
on, they'll cut that thing off and put legs
Oh
on it.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's gonna look weird. And then they get it done. I'm like,
Looks
oh,
good.
that looks
Yeah.
good. And then the other one is they get desks and they cut the center off the desk and they turn them into nightstands.
Oh,
And every time I see one of those, I'm like, what?
that's a
There
cool
was
one.
actually, and I think it was Facebook
Mhm.
maybe had Facebook Marketplace maybe.
Mhm.
There was a thing of like, Curb Alert, and
Oh
they
yeah.
had all this furniture out there, and one of the things was like a mirrored vanity. And as soon as I saw it, I bet, oh, I could turn that into nightstands because it was like, the two sides with the drawers and then the center with the mirror thing, and
And then you
yeah,
were
so
like, but couldn't couldn't have mom pulling up in the garage with that thing sitting in there.
right. Right, right, exactly. Yeah. She'd be like, "What? Why are you taking other people's garbage?" No, I did see that, and I thought because there was three pieces of furniture that I saw that I was like, furniture
Yeah.
flippers would grab that.
Uh-huh.
It was that vanity. I was like, they would take that thing, they would turn it into a couple of nightstands. They'd paint it like a light, like moss green, and they'd get $300 for the pair. And then the other one was one of these big China hutches, the big 1970s, 1980s China hutches with the glass doors. They would take that thing, they'd take those doors and throw them in the garbage. They'd repaint the whole thing, they'd redo the shelving, and they'd turn it into a coffee bar. Because I've seen like two or three where they've done that, and they look really good. And it's this nice, it's this nice open coffee bar.
You gotta
And then I forget what the third one I think was just a dresser, and I was like, a furniture flipper would grab all that stuff and probably make, I don't know, $1,000 or
you
something
have
off
to
of it.
just get a like smaller storage unit and
Yeah,
you
I
are the
know.
furniture flipper.
Yeah,
With all your spare time,
I know.
start doing
Yeah,
that.
right, right. Between all our three podcast episodes a week and
Your regular job.
uh and of course my job, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't sleep anymore. I've been up for 96 hours straight.
Right.
No.
It's not aging me at
So well,
all.
this was no, not at all. I don't look
It's
older,
not aging me at all because this 3 days is still one day to me.
That's right. That's right. How can I age when it's all the same day?
uh,
This was a fun one. I think this was very much along the lines of the Gen X millennial thing because we went through the trends in
yeah,
both. So that was a fun
and we love
discussion.
interior
And next
design.
week yeah, exactly. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I've done some furniture flips myself, but that's another story for a different
True.
episode. Um, and I guess next week we may have a guest. We'll see next Tuesday. And do we know what we're talking about on Thursday? I think we
Oh
do,
yeah, we
but
do.
let's reveal it on Thursday.
True.
Yeah, let's reveal it on Thursday. It's a very recent one. So
Have a great
cool.
Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll see you Thursday.
Yeah.